Chapter 5 Discipline is Emotional Stability. You think emotional stability comes from peace and quiet? It doesn't. It comes from discipline. Because peace is not a gift, it's a result. A result of structure. A result of control. A result of daily discipline. If you can't control your habits, your emotions will control you. That's the truth most people avoid. They think emotional strength is about meditation, about positive thoughts, about waiting for calm. It's not. It's about what you do every day, not what you feel every day. Your feelings don't build control. Your habits do. That's the key. Discipline is emotional stability in motion. It's structure that keeps your mind from collapsing under pressure. When you live without structure, your emotions fill the space. You drift. You overthink. You react. You start chasing comfort, avoiding pain, and confusing feelings with facts. You lose control because you never built a foundation. But when you have a routine, when you decide who runs your day, you don't give chaos room to grow. That's what discipline does. It builds a structure strong enough to contain emotion. Let me make this simple. When your habits are weak, your emotions are strong. When your habits are strong, your emotions are quiet. The person who says, "I'll do it when I feel like it," will never feel like it. Because emotions are unreliable. Discipline means doing it especially when you don't feel like it. That's the test. That's the difference. It's not about how you feel, it's about what you follow. Do you follow your mood, or do you follow your mission? That's the question that decides your life. Most people say, "I can't control my emotions." But what they really mean is, "I have no structure." They wake up without a plan. They eat without awareness. They talk without thinking. They move through life reacting, not leading. And then they wonder why they feel anxious, scattered, and unstable. Emotional chaos is the child of undisciplined living. You can't think clearly when your environment, your habits, and your actions are in disorder. If you want peace, build order. You don't meditate your way to peace, you organize your way to it. That's the secret no one wants to hear. Every disciplined person you admire, the athlete, the leader, the monk, the creator, they all share one thing: consistency. Their emotions don't decide their actions. Their actions decide their emotions. Because motion creates emotion, structure creates stability. Consistency creates control. That's why discipline is emotional mastery in disguise. When you get up early, when you train your body, when you manage your time, you are not just controlling your schedule, you are training your emotions to obey. You're teaching your mind. We act from principle, not from feeling. That's emotional maturity. Let's be real. You don't rise because you feel motivated. You rise because you decided to. Motivation fades. Discipline stays. Discipline is what gets you through the mornings you hate, the work you don't enjoy, the silence that feels uncomfortable. Discipline is what keeps you calm when things fall apart because you've trained yourself to follow structure, not panic. You want emotional control? Build it in the quiet hours when no one's watching. That's where strength is born, in repetition, in structure, in stillness. Control your habits, and your emotions will follow. Repeat that. Control your habits, and your emotions will follow. Your habits are the steering wheel of your emotional state. They guide your energy, your focus, your reactions. If your habits are weak, your emotions will pull you in every direction. If your habits are strong, your emotions will obey the structure you built. That's how you become unshakable. Here's the truth: structure doesn't limit you. It frees you. Routine doesn't trap you. It stabilizes you. Freedom without discipline is chaos. Freedom with discipline is control. That's the difference between the person who lives in peace and the one who lives in panic. You can't build stability on inconsistency. You can't expect calm when your actions are scattered. The foundation of emotional strength is consistency, and consistency is built one disciplined choice at a time. So what does this look like in real life? It looks like waking up at the same time, even when you don't want to. It looks like moving your body, even when you feel tired. It looks like sticking to your word because your word is your structure. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your confidence rises. Every time you follow through on your plan, your emotions quiet down. Because discipline silences doubt. You don't need more confidence. You need more consistency. That's how emotional strength is built, not by talking about control, but by living it every single day. When you train your body, you train your mind. When you schedule your day, you calm your thoughts. When you repeat disciplined behavior, you stabilize your emotions. That's how it works. You can't expect peace from a life without order. You can't expect calm from a mind without structure. And you can't expect control from habits you never built. You don't need a new mindset. You need a new pattern. It's not about motivation. It's about management. It's not about energy. It's about execution. It's not about how you feel. It's about what you follow. That's the formula. Here's the truth: the strongest people you know aren't calm because life is easy. They're calm because they built systems that keep them balanced when life gets hard. They trust their habits. They rely on their structure. They act before emotion can interfere. That's how you master yourself. The undisciplined person feels every storm. The disciplined person stands above it. That's emotional stability, not avoiding emotion, but mastering its rhythm. When your habits stay solid, your emotions can't shake you. You are grounded. You are focused. You are centered. Because your discipline is your anchor. Let's bring this home. Every time you follow your plan instead of your mood, you win. Every time you choose consistency over comfort, you grow. Every time you show up when you don't feel like it, you build control. You have a choice. Always. You can follow emotion or you can follow discipline. One gives you chaos. The other gives you peace. Control your habits, and your emotions will follow. That's the rule. That's the key. Discipline is not punishment, it's protection. It protects your peace, your progress, and your purpose. That's real emotional strength, calm built on consistency. You've learned to protect your peace from others. Now it's time to protect your peace from yourself, from your moods, from your impulses, from your distractions. Because the next level of control isn't external. It's internal. You've mastered the outside noise. Now master the inside one. Next chapter. Your feelings are not instructions. Because emotional maturity means this: you don't obey feelings, you lead them. And that's where the next transformation begins. Chapter 6. Your feelings are not instructions. Your feelings are not instructions. Read that again. Because the world doesn't want you to believe it. You've been told your entire life to follow your heart, trust your gut, and do what feels right. That sounds beautiful. It sounds empowering. But it's also dangerous. Because feelings are temporary. Principles are not. And when you build your life on temporary emotion, you end up with temporary results. That's the truth nobody wants to hear. Every day, you feel hundreds of things. Motivation, doubt, fear, excitement, anger, love, jealousy, regret. Those feelings rise and fall like waves. They're not commands, they're signals. But here's the problem. Most people treat their emotions as orders. They wake up tired, and they take that as a command to quit. They feel angry, and they take that as a command to fight. They feel sad, and they take that as a command to stop moving. You have to stop obeying your emotions. You have to start leading them. Because feelings follow focus, and focus follows discipline. You don't obey feelings, you lead them. That's the key. Let's make this clear. Your feelings are real, but they are not reliable. You can feel like a failure while actually growing. You can feel like you're behind while you're exactly where you need to be. You can feel hopeless while being one decision away from a breakthrough. So, no, your feelings are not evil. They just can't be trusted to lead. Emotion is a child, wild, loud, impulsive. Discipline is the parent, calm, stable, consistent. When the child throws a tantrum, you don't hand them the steering wheel. You let them scream, but you keep driving. That's emotional mastery. That's leadership over self. The truth is, emotional maturity begins the day you stop treating feelings as facts. Just because you feel disrespected doesn't mean you were. Just because you feel tired doesn't mean you can't work. Just because you feel afraid doesn't mean you're in danger. You have a choice. Always. That's what separates the weak from the strong. The weak react to how they feel. The strong act on what they decided. It's not about feeling ready. It's about being disciplined. You'll never feel like waking up early. You'll never feel like saying no to distraction. You'll never feel like doing the uncomfortable work. Do it anyway. That's what warriors do. That's what winners do. You don't obey feelings, you lead them. Say it again, you don't obey feelings, you lead them. Every successful person you admire, the athlete, the entrepreneur, the monk, the soldier, they all share one skill: the ability to act independent of emotion. Do you think a Navy SEAL feels motivated at 4 a.m? Do you think a monk feels peaceful every moment? Do you think a champion boxer feels fearless before a fight? No, they feel everything you feel: fear, doubt, pain, but they act anyway. That's discipline. And discipline is emotional control in motion. You have to build that muscle, the muscle that does what's right even when it doesn't feel right. That's where self-respect is born. When you do what needs to be done, not because it feels good, but because it's right. Here's the mistake most people make. They think emotional honesty means emotional obedience. They say, "I'm just being real about how I feel." No, you're just being lazy about how you act. There's a difference between acknowledging your feelings and obeying them. Strong people acknowledge emotions, weak people obey them. You can feel fear and still take the shot. You can feel sad and still show up. You can feel insecure and still lead. That's emotional power, doing what's right while your emotions scream for comfort. Let's get practical. Here's how to stop being a slave to your emotions. Step 1. Name the feeling. When you feel overwhelmed, anxious, or angry, say it. I feel angry. I feel anxious. I feel bored. Naming it separates you from it. You're not your feelings. You're the observer. Step 2. Breathe. Because emotion lives in the body, not just the mind. Slow your breath. Control your chemistry. Remember, slow breath, slow thoughts. Fast breath, fast chaos. Step 3. Choose principle over impulse. Ask, what's the disciplined choice here? Then do that. Not what feels easiest. Not what feels safest. Do what aligns with your higher standard. That's how you win. That's how you build strength. You don't need to feel like a winner to act like one. You act like one first, and the feeling follows later. That's the secret every leader knows. Feelings are loud, but they're short-lived. They pass like storms. Your decisions, your habits, your routines, those are what shape your life. So when you feel lost, when you feel down, when you feel like quitting, stop. Don't ask, what do I feel like doing? Ask, what does my discipline demand right now? That's the shift. It's not about emotional comfort. It's about emotional command. And you can't command your life if you can't command yourself. The next time your emotions flare up, remember this. Your feelings are a suggestion, not an order. They're the weather, not the compass. You decide the direction. You're the captain. You steer the ship. The waves don't get to choose where you go. You have a choice. Always. Stop letting feelings dictate your actions. Start letting discipline define your path. You don't obey feelings. You lead them. That's the difference between chaos and control. Between wishful thinking and real power. You've learned to stop obeying your emotions. Now, it's time to learn how to keep that emotional power quiet, calm, focused, and unshakable. You mastered your inner storm. Now, let's master your silence. The discipline of silence. Chapter 6. Emotional pain is training. Pain is not punishment. Pain is the classroom of growth. Every lesson worth learning is written in discomfort. You've been taught to avoid it, to numb it, to run from it. But here's the truth. Pain is not your enemy, it's your teacher. Every successful, resilient, powerful person you admire was trained in the same classroom, the classroom of pain. They didn't escape it. They studied it. They trained through it. That's the difference. When life hurts, most people crumble. They panic. They complain. They look for an exit. They think pain means something's gone wrong. But nothing's gone wrong, something's being rebuilt. Pain breaks the weak, but it builds the disciplined. Don't escape pain. Study it. Don't numb it. Understand it. Don't hate it. Use it. That's the key. Because emotional pain is strength training for the mind. Every heartbreak, every failure, every rejection, that's a rep, and each rep builds emotional muscle. Think about your greatest transformation, the time you truly changed. Was it when life was comfortable? No. It was when you were hurt. When you were rejected. When you were betrayed. When life said, no. Pain wakes you up. It forces you to look inward. It strips away illusions and demands truth. You learn who you are not when you're celebrated, but when you're tested. Discomfort exposes your real character. You can't learn resilience from comfort. You can't learn patience from ease. You can't learn strength without pressure. Pain is not there to destroy you. It's there to prepare you. Here's the truth few accept. The pain you try to run from keeps repeating until you learn from it. Life is not cruel. It's consistent. If you avoid the lesson, the test returns harder each time. You lose the same type of friend. You fail the same type of job. You repeat the same emotional pattern. Why? Because you didn't study your pain. You escaped it instead of training through it. Don't escape pain. Study it. Train through it. Rejection isn't the end, it's redirection. Failure isn't final, it's feedback. Loss isn't emptiness, it's evolution. When something breaks you, it's showing you the parts of yourself that need rebuilding. The gym for your emotions is built from rejection, loss, and struggle. Every time someone doubts you, that's a rep. Every time you fail publicly, that's a rep. Every time you have to start again when no one believes in you, that's another rep. And the more reps you take, the stronger you become. It's not about avoiding pain. It's about building endurance for it. Pain is resistance. Discipline is how you lift it. You have two options when pain comes: you can collapse, or you can construct. Collapse into self-pity, or construct your new self. Most people choose collapse. They drown in their feelings. They talk about how unfair life is. They replay the wound over and over until it defines them. But you have a choice. You don't need their permission to grow through your pain. You don't need validation for your struggle. You only need one thing: discipline. The discipline to stay with the discomfort long enough to learn from it. That's where transformation happens. Let me show you what this looks like. A man loses his job. He thinks his life is over. He feels worthless, anxious, afraid. He could drown in that fear, or he could study it. He could ask, what is this pain trying to teach me? Maybe it's teaching him that he relied too much on comfort. Maybe it's showing him that he's meant to build something of his own. Pain doesn't speak with words. It speaks with pressure. When you stop running, you start hearing it. A woman gets rejected by someone she thought she'd spend her life with. She's broken. She feels unlovable. She's tempted to chase, to beg, to lose herself. But if she pauses, if she studies the pain, she'll see something deeper. She'll realize she gave too much of herself away. She'll see that she mistook attachment for love. She'll understand that self-worth must come before connection. That's how pain becomes wisdom. That's how wounds become teachers. Don't escape pain. Study it. Train through it. Pain is not always emotional either. Sometimes it's the pain of discipline. The pain of early mornings. The pain of saying no when everyone else says yes. The pain of repetition without recognition. That's the training most people quit. They think the discomfort means they're on the wrong path. No, it means they're finally growing. Growth doesn't feel good. It feels confusing. It feels lonely. It feels uncertain. But that's the process. Pain is proof that you're under construction. Every version of you that was weak, reactive, lazy, it dies in the fire of pain. And what rises after is stronger, sharper, calmer. That's how warriors are made. Listen carefully. You don't build emotional stability by avoiding the storm. You build it by standing in the rain and learning to breathe. You don't build strength by escaping discomfort. You build it by walking through it with focus. Every emotional hit you survive increases your threshold for chaos. Every disappointment you process calmly builds your composure. Every heartbreak you heal from silently builds your confidence. Pain refines you. Pain shapes you. Pain strengthens you. If you study it. If you train through it. That's the secret. So the next time life hurts, don't ask, "Why me?" Ask, "What is this teaching me?" That question turns pain into progress. That mindset turns suffering into strength. Remember this mantra: don't escape pain. Study it. Train through it. That's how discipline is forged. That's how emotional control is earned. That's how quiet power is built. Because pain isn't punishment, it's preparation. It's life sharpening you for the next level. You've learned to study your pain instead of fleeing it. You've learned that every struggle can train you for strength. Now, it's time to master the next level, not just how to endure pain, but how to turn it into power. You survived the fire. Now let's talk about how to use it. Chapter 7: Turning Pain into Power. The Discipline of Silence. There's a kind of power that doesn't shout. It doesn't argue. It doesn't explain. It simply does not react. That's the power most people never learn to use because they think silence is weakness. But silence isn't weakness. It's strategy. It's control. It's the sharpest weapon you have in a world built on emotional chaos. The truth is simple: the one who stays calm controls the room. That's the key. That's the secret behind every composed leader, every unshakable negotiator, every person who seems unbothered while others fall apart. They've learned the discipline of non-reaction. When you don't react, you take away the other person's power. You strip the energy from their anger, from their manipulation, from their attempt to control you. Because reaction is what feeds them. Your reaction is the fuel that keeps their chaos alive. When someone tries to provoke you and you respond with silence, with steady eyes, with calm, you're not losing. You're winning without even swinging. The loudest person in the room usually has the least control. The calm one? They've already won the mental battle. Think about it. At work, when a coworker tries to get under your skin, maybe they take credit for your idea or drop a sarcastic comment, your natural impulse is to fight back. To defend yourself. To react. But here's the truth: every time you react emotionally, you confirm their control. You hand them your peace. You give them your focus. And focus is power. Non-reaction isn't about letting people walk over you. It's about refusing to let them walk inside your head. You have a choice. You can fight for control of the situation, or you can master control of yourself. One brings temporary satisfaction. The other builds permanent strength. Let's talk about emotional manipulation, because that's where this power truly shows up. People will test you. They'll push your buttons. They'll insult you indirectly, act like victims, or twist your words to get a reaction. Why? Because once you react, they own you. So what's the antidote? It's calm. It's detachment. It's the unshakable presence that says, "I see what you're doing. But you won't get my energy today." You don't need their approval. You don't need to prove your worth in every argument. You don't need to defend yourself every time someone misunderstands you. That's the key: you don't need to prove what's already true. When you stop reacting, you stop explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. You start conserving your emotional energy for what actually matters. Let's go deeper. Non-reaction isn't just silence. It's emotional control in motion. It's learning to pause before responding. To breathe before exploding. To see the bigger picture before saying something you'll regret. Because every reaction has a cost. A cost in peace. A cost in focus. A cost in time. And most people go bankrupt emotionally not because of tragedy, but because of overreaction. Every minor inconvenience becomes a crisis. Every insult becomes a war. Every opinion becomes a personal attack. That's emotional poverty. You don't need to live like that. You can train yourself to pause. To observe. To choose stillness instead of chaos. That's the training. That's the real growth. Imagine a storm. The trees shake, the waves crash, everything is moving except the mountain. The mountain doesn't move. It endures. You must become that mountain, still, steady, grounded. Because when you stay calm in chaos, you send a message without words. I'm not at your level. That's what real strength looks like, not loud, not reactive, just solid. Let's take this into relationships. When your partner, friend, or family member says something hurtful, your instinct is to defend. To react. To match their tone. But every time you match emotional chaos, you double it. Instead, practice what I call the silent pause. Take a breath. Look at them. Say nothing. In that silence, something shifts. They lose momentum. Their emotional wave breaks against your calm. That's the moment you reclaim power. Because it's not about dominating the other person, it's about mastering yourself. It's not about being right, it's about staying centered. You can care deeply, but stay calm. You can love fully, but stay free. Even online, in the age of social media hate, your power is non-reaction. People will insult you just to see if they can get a rise out of you. They want attention. Don't feed them. Every comment you ignore adds to your strength. Every battle you choose not to fight builds your self-respect. Because silence online isn't weakness. It's wisdom. The strong don't explain themselves to strangers. You have to remember, not every opinion deserves your energy. Not every noise deserves your attention. Protect your peace like it's oxygen. That's discipline. That's control. Now, how do you train it? Because this isn't about theory. It's about transformation. Start with small moments. Traffic jam. Late reply. Someone cuts in line. Instead of reacting, pause. Feel the urge. Don't obey it. That's how you build the muscle. Each time you don't react, you're rewiring your brain. You're teaching it that calm is strength. You're proving to yourself that your emotions don't control you, you control them. That's real toughness. That's what emotional discipline looks like in practice. And here's the truth: people who can't control their emotions will always be controlled by those who can. Read that again. The one who stays calm controls the room. The one who stays calm controls the direction. The one who stays calm controls their destiny. Non-reaction is not indifference. It's mastery. It's clarity. It's your silent advantage in a noisy world. So, the next time someone tries to provoke you, remember, you don't need to win the argument. You just need to keep your peace. Because your peace is the win. That's the discipline most people never master. But you're not most people. You're training for mental control. For emotional sovereignty. That's your edge. That's your strength. You've now learned one of the most underrated powers in life, the power of non-reaction. You've learned that silence isn't empty, it's full of control. That calm isn't passive, it's active dominance. You've learned that your emotions aren't your master, they're your responsibility. You mastered stillness in the storm. Now it's time to take it even further. Because the next chapter is about what truly defines your energy, and what drains it. You've learned to stay calm. Every emotion is a test, and now you know how to pass it. You've learned that control isn't about suppression, it's about awareness. You've learned that your reactions shape your reality more than any external event ever could. So when the world gets loud, you get quiet. When others panic, you breathe. When they rush, you stay centered. That's what emotional mastery looks like. It's calm. It's focused. It's unshakable. From today onward, refuse to be a slave to your emotions. Stand in your power. Lead your mind. Because when you master your emotions, you master your life.